You're listening to AI News of the Week, brought to you by the AI Tips and Tools YouTube channel. Subscribe for weekly insights, trends, and updates from the world of artificial intelligence.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is our first one for 2026, the start of Season 2 of AI News of the Week, and it's brought to you by the AI Tips and Tools YouTube channel.
Happy New Year. And for today, our mission is pretty clear. We're sifting through all those end-of-year reports from 2025, all the new forecasts for 2026, and we're really just trying to filter out the noise.
Absolutely. We want to find those core shifts, the predictions that actually matter, and, the risks we all need to be watching right now.
Exactly, because if you look back, 2025, that was the year AI investment just hit escape velocity.
It wasn't just an interesting piece of tech anymore. It became this foundational economic force. It felt like the engine of the global economy, really.
For sure. And now we have to move past that, that initial hype and get into the hard analysis. The sheer scale of the money that poured in last year means we're looking at real systemic challenges now.
Economic ones, security ones.
All of it. We have to figure out what's really disruptive versus what's just, clever financial engineering, which is why we're diving straight in.
Okay, so let's start with the big story of 2025. I think the thing driving everything else, from stock prices to, data centers, was just the incredible speed of adoption.
Oh, absolutely. We saw generative AI adoption jump by 10 percentage points.
It's just 12 months.
In a single year. It hit 54.6% globally. And that number, it's not just a small step up. It's like a historical anomaly.
Put that in context for us.
Okay, so 3 years after ChatGPT launched, that 54% adoption rate just crushes everything else. Look at the PC. 3 years into its big push, it was only at, 19.7%? Even the internet was only at about 30% in 1998. AI just moves so much faster.
So for you listening, what does that speed actually mean, whether you're running a business or just thinking about your career? It means catching up is no longer just a good idea. It's an imperative.
Right. If your company wasn't already integrating this stuff by the end of last year, they were already behind the curve, the market average anyway.
And that speed is what fueled this. This unprecedented financial investment. Data centers, which used to be this boring back-end thing.
Suddenly they were center stage. You had Google, Amazon, Microsoft. Together they spent over $300 billion on AI infrastructure in 2025 alone.
$300 billion. It's a number that's so big it's hard to even wrap your head around. But you can see the impact. The economist Jason Furman, he found the investment in this kind of equipment accounted for 92% of U.S. GDP growth in the first half of 2025.
92%.
Yeah.
That tells you everything you need to know about where the capital was flowing and, more importantly, where everyone expects future growth to come from.
So if infrastructure was the gold rush?
NVIDIA was selling the shovels.
And the pickaxes and the dynamite?
All of it. The demand for their chips, especially that new Blackwell Ultra GPU, was just off the charts. It pushed them to become the first company in history to break $5 trillion in market cap.
That was in October. A $5 trillion company. It's just staggering, and it shows how the whole hardware ecosystem got revalued, leaving guys like Intel, really struggling.
Yeah, they're struggling to keep up.
Yeah.
But it's not just about faster chips, right? It's about what those chips let AI actually do. And 2025 wasn't just about bigger language models.
No, it was the year of the agentic leap.
Exactly. We went from LLMs, which are, powerful tools for conversation, to these dynamic agentic systems.
So not just smart parrots anymore.
Not at all. They became more like digital employees. Software that can plan, sequence tasks, and actually execute actions across different apps on its own.
So what was the technical key that unlocked that? What let it accelerate so fast in the business world?
It was standardization, plain and simple. 2 protocols, really. Anthropic's Model Context Protocol, or MCP.
And Google's Agent-to-Agent, A2A.
Right, and these are so critical because they standardized how these different AI agents talk to each other and structure their data.
So it's like a universal language for them.
Think of it like that. For an agent to, say, book a flight for you, it needs a reliable way to ask the pricing agent for data, then hand credentials to the booking agent, and then tell another agent to draft the confirmation email.
And these protocols create that reliable handoff.
Without them, every single interaction is custom-built and messy. Enterprise adoption just stalls. So yeah, standardization was the real engine of that agentic leap.
Okay, so if 2025 was all about massive scale and maybe some reckless spending,
Yeah, you could say that.
then the forecast for 2026 seems to be a shift. a move from pure hype to pragmatism.
Exactly. Companies are definitely going to increase their AI spending, that's not in doubt. But the big change is that they'll be consolidating, focusing on fewer vendors.
They're tired of the sprawl. They want efficiency, reliability, security.
And we're already seeing that consolidation play out. I mean, look at Google's planned $32 billion purchase of Wiz to beef up their cloud security. It's a huge signal.
Right. Complexity is out. Integrated systems are in.
And that push for pragmatism is tied directly to the hardware problem. The consensus among experts is that hardware efficiency is the new scaling strategy.
Because you can't just keep scaling compute forever.
And you just can't. The cost, the power requirements. It's becoming completely unsustainable at the rate we saw in 2025.
So if we can't just build bigger models or more data centers, where does the performance gain come from?
Well, it forces innovation on a couple of fronts. First, you optimize what you have. You use specialized hardware like ASIC accelerators, chiplets, things that customize the processor for a very specific AI job.
And the second front.
You look at totally different approaches, like analog inference.
Okay, why is analog inference getting so much attention now?
It's all about efficiency. Your digital chips work with zeros and ones, right? Analog chips operate on a continuous range of values using electrical resistance. It's a method that just requires way less energy.
For that final step, the inference part.
Exactly. It's not going to replace NVIDIA overnight, but for tasks where power consumption is the biggest issue, it's a game changer. And that's also why Edge AI.
Running models locally on your phone or your laptop.
Yeah, that's finally expected to move from just hype to reality this year. People need lower latency. They need data to stay on their own device. Efficiency is the driver.
Okay, let's talk about a breakthrough that could redefine compute altogether, the quantum milestone. IBM has gone public, saying 2026 will be the year.
It's a colossal prediction. They're saying this is the year a quantum computer will actually outperform a classical computer on a meaningful real-world task, the moment of quantum advantage.
Which moves it out of the physics lab and into a real world.
Right. We're talking about solving certain complex problems that would take a supercomputer, thousands of years to crack.
So where does that land first? What's a real-world example?
Think about drug development. Simulating how hundreds of atoms in a complex molecule interact is incredibly hard for a classical computer.
But a quantum computer can model that.
With much, much greater accuracy. And that could unlock breakthroughs in materials science, designing a new super-efficient battery, for example, or in finance, with incredibly complex risk modeling. It's the start of a whole new paradigm.
So moving from hardware back to the systems. You said leadership is shifting from who has the best model to who has the best system. What does that actually look like?
It means the orchestration, the tools, the workflows around the model. That's the new competitive moat. When you use a major AI tool today, you're not just talking to one giant LLM.
No, you're interacting with a whole software system.
A very sophisticated one. It's got routing, retrieval, augmented generation, tools to search the web, error handling. That whole surrounding system is the real product.
And the most fascinating part of that prediction, I think, is how it democratizes everything. The idea that everyday business users,
Not just developers.
are going to become the new agent builders.
Yes. Because all that technical complexity is getting hidden away, abstracted. So instead of writing code, a business user just defines goals and constraints. We're seeing the rise of super agents and these AI orchestrated teams that just manage tasks for you.
They check your email, draft your docs, browse the web for you.
And because the barrier to entry is so much lower, the people who are closest to the actual business problems are the ones who can now build the automations. It's a huge shift in power.
All right, we've covered the acceleration, which is amazing, but we have to talk about the risks. And the warnings from safety experts are getting louder, not quieter.
Yeah, David Dalrymple, an expert from the UK's ARA, he gave a pretty chilling warning. He said the world might literally run out of time to prepare for the safety risks.
Because the systems are advancing faster than our ability to govern them.
There's a huge gap. He laid out a stark projection, too. He said that within 5 years, machines will be able to do most economically valuable jobs at a higher quality and lower cost than humans.
That's not a productivity boost.
Yeah.
That's a competitive replacement scenario.
It is. And it's rooted in the data. The UK's AI Security Institute found AI performance is doubling every 8 months in some areas. And their tests confirmed a major safety concern.
The self-replication.
Right. They found 2 cutting-edge models had success rates over 60% for self-replication tasks. This isn't science fiction anymore. It's a verifiable reality that's moving way faster than any regulation.
Let's shift to a different kind of risk, not just safety, but quality and economic stability.
Well,
Merriam-Webster's word of the year for 2025 was slop.
slop, defined as, all that low quality, often wrong, generic digital content churned out by AI. And it points to this core tension between how much is being invested and what's actually being produced.
Skeptics are pointing to the $400 billion invested last year and saying the unit economics just don't add up yet.
Right. The cost to service a customer request with AI is still often higher than the revenue it brings in. So you have all this investment built on faith, and that's when the bubble talk starts getting serious.
And we're seeing some clear signs of financial engineering, right?
Oh, absolutely. The circular deals. These are investment flows that just keep cash moving around internally between the big players, instead of being driven by real outside customer demand.
Like the NVIDIA and OpenAI deal.
That's the prime example. NVIDIA invests $100 billion in OpenAI, which then turns right around and uses that money to buy NVIDIA GPUs. Oracle pays NVIDIA for chips, then OpenAI pays Oracle for compute.
It looks robust on paper, but it's just a closed loop.
It's dependency disguised as demand. And it could lead to a massive correction if real, widespread customer revenue doesn't show up to support it all.
Okay, let's close on what might be the most immediate and apparently unsolvable threat that just broke.
This is a big one. OpenAI has come out and admitted that prompt injection attacks against AI-powered browsers are a long-term risk that can't be fully patched.
So it's not a bug they can fix.
No, they're describing it as a structural problem,
Right.
like phishing or social engineering. Something you can only manage through user education, but you can never, ever truly eliminate at the code level.
We need to break this down, especially with the agentic systems we were just talking about. How does this attack actually work?
It exploits the fact that the agent has to read information to do its job. An attacker can hide instructions in tiny font or white text on a white background inside a web page or an image or even a Google Doc.
Stuff a human might not see, but the AI will.
Exactly. And because the agent is designed to trust and act on what it reads, it could be tricked into doing malicious things. Leaking your sensitive data, clicking bad links, running commands in your cloud account at scale.
And this isn't just a theory. We've seen the UK High Court warn lawyers about using AI and citing completely made-up case law.
The risk is very real. The core problem is the trust model. These agents have access to your email, your documents, your cloud. And even if it asks for human confirmation, the prompt injection has already biased the agent's recommendation.
The system is built for speed, and that speed is just running ahead of our ability to secure it.
That's the bottom line.
So here's the question for you listening. Given these unfixable risks and the massive investment writing on these autonomous AI products, do you think AI browsers and these super agents are worth the risk today? Or are we moving way too fast for security to keep up? Let us know what you think in the comments section.
Yeah, as we head into 2026, the whole year is defined by these two opposing forces. You have this massive internal push for efficiency and system integration on one side.
Driven by the new economic realities.
Right. And on the other, you have these urgent structural concerns about security and the basic stability of the industry's financial model.
David Dalrymple said we're sleepwalking into this transition. But with performance doubling every 8 months, you have to ask, is the real safety issue less about if we can build powerful AI and more about whether human governance and our economic models can even pretend to match the speed of this technical acceleration?
That is the ultimate challenge for 2026, no question.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. If you want to keep up with this story, with all the weekly updates in this incredibly fast-changing field, make sure you subscribe to the AI Tips and Tools YouTube channel and hit that notification bell. We'll be back next week.